Alrighty, hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Obviously flew by pretty fast here. Bitcoin's actually dumping right now a little bit in the new day for Monday. I'm not sure why. I was wondering if I missed something. I don't think I missed anything. I'm not sure why it's actually going down here, so it's kind of weird. Miners in the after hours or pre-hours right now are kind of mixed as well. A lot of them are actually in the red. We will take a look at obviously the miners or the BTC miners now. Obviously, what are they being valued for their megawatts currently and their future pipeline of megawatts as well. And then we'll also take a look at on the miners as far as what's going on with their progress last week compared to Bitcoin, right? How did they perform compared to Bitcoin last week? And then we'll get into Q&A as well on that. We have Cypher reporting tomorrow morning their Q3 results. That's going to be at 8 o'clock Eastern time. My time it's going to be 7 o'clock. So that's kind of usually a pretty good sign that there might be something good news there happening. Because if you don't have anything good news to report, you probably want to report after the close of the bell, right? For the trading day, they're reporting so there might be actually a good sign there that they're going to have maybe some good news there. Maybe. We'll see. We'll obviously cover it tomorrow when it does happen. And yeah, we'll get into everything here and get into Q&A. But as always, you guys know the drill. Not financial advice, for time only. Do your own research. Full disclosure below that. Hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. And hopefully today, knock on wood, we don't have a sneezing spell going on during the live show. Okay? So let's get into Bitcoin here. What's going on with that thing right now? This thing is obviously fallen here. It was doing pretty nicely here over the weekend, staying above the 200 simple day moving average here, which is this green and red line at times. But we're falling right now 2.38%, 2.39%. I'm not sure why. We're down $2,640 on it. I mean, we closed Sunday out being up a little bit, 0.44%, and closed at 110,000. But we're coming back down here for some reason. I'm not sure what that. Let me know if I missed something. Did Trump say something? Is he going to war with another country, or what the heck is going on here? Let me know. I thought I was at a birthday party, so I could have missed something there. What happened? It seems like Bitcoin has been dumping here for the last 4 hours or so. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 hours for some reason. So whatever happened 4 hours ago, I'm not sure what that is there. Let me see if there's anything here. Outlook and I mean, nothing major here. So I don't know. It could be just one of those last flushes before we rally up higher here, potentially. I'm not sure. Okay, so there's Bitcoin right now. Ethereum, let's see how Ethereum's doing as well. Ethereum, similar thing right now. I mean, similar chart on that one also. So that one was down today also. Let's see, that one's down 4.4% here. So we'll see how the miners and the treasury companies for Bitcoin and Ethereum do tomorrow as well, and everybody else. Markets, same thing. I'm not sure where they're going to be at right now, but right now we're not starting out greatly on a great side or a great sign for this next week happening here at least. But maybe this is a good thing, right? We're going to flush out whatever's left out there of the leverage, and then we're going to go up higher from here. Maybe. We'll see. I'm not too worried right now as it is. Bitcoin, well, I should probably ask this. I watched an interview with Anthony Pompliano and a guest that he had there. I can't remember the gentleman's name there, but he was saying about Bitcoin, and actually Ernest actually posted this on X, that Bitcoin is in like an IPO phase right now, where it's the reason it's trading so weird and it's just been going sideways for so long is basically because it's like in an IPO phase where your companies are trying to accumulate as much as they can, institutions are trying to accumulate as much as they can as well, and then once they have enough of what they want, then they'll let it run here. It's an interesting theory on it, the way it's playing out, but we'll see. And we'll talk about that a little bit as well during the middle of the show here. But this is all we have right now. I mean, not a great start to the week. Hopefully it gets better for us. As far as the miners here, pre-hours for the next day, we got Bitdeer being actually up 1.22% here. Bitfarms is now down 1.25%. Cypher is, let's see, pre-hours. It's up, down. It's up 0.32% as of right now, at least. That will probably change. Cleanspark is down 2. Let's see where that one finishes up at here. A lot of trading in that one here happening after 2 3/4. CORZ Scientific is up 0.7%. Hive Digital is down 3.85%. Hut 8 is down 0.22%. IREN is, let's see, down 1 point something. Come on. Where's this thing going to end up at? Okay, it's actually down 2.04% on that one. Mara is down 1.31%. Riot is down 1.62%. And TeraWolf here is actually down 0.25%, right? Also, TeraWolf reported on Friday that they got the upsized convertible notes there to $1 billion roughly. So that was great news, right? They started out 500 million, I believe it was. And then they got it quite nicely upsized there as well. So that's great to see that one there. Bitcoin here right now for the month of November is down actually 1.09% here. We're obviously very early in it, so we'll see where we end up at. The Bitcoin ETF inflows here, we had a negative day on Friday, 191 million, so we had a 3-day losing streak here in Bitcoin happening for us towards the end of the month here. And we've seen that historically, at least lately, with Bitcoin dropping towards the end of the month, of each month that we've been in at, like for the last 6 months or so, which is definitely odd. It has obviously done that in the past, but not consecutive months in a row where it's done this, okay? A couple good news stories that we do have here. This is from Bitcoin Junkies here, just in the U.S. Senators push to finalize Bitcoin and crypto market structure bill before Thanksgiving. Obviously, we need the government to reopen for that to happen there, so hopefully we get that done, and this would be a nice Thanksgiving gift there for us. This is from Mike Alfred. Mike Alfred says, I've been saying this for at least a year. Now the CEOs of the largest companies in the world are saying it. Are you paying attention yet? So this is obviously from Satya Nadella there, Microsoft CEO. He is saying that the compute is not the bottleneck, but energy and data center space is. In fact, the problem that he has is that he has a surplus of GPUs right now sitting, which he can't use glut, right? So that's not good. So the good thing is, obviously, a lot of these BTC AI miners do have a lot of megawatts available to them. We'll see how many deals are, made on that, whether or not they're going to do it, whether they're going to still continue to try going at it alone. But a lot of these Bitcoin miners do have a lot of megawatts currently available that could be transitioned over into AI as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But yeah, megawatts is the big roadblock there. It's not the chips, it's the megawatts. They weren't getting those in the past, they are having a hard time getting it right now as it is. So that's great news there. And this is from the Kobeisi letter. Breaking Jensen Hung says the trade deal between Trump and Xi ensures NVIDIA can continue to compete in China's market. Jensen says NVIDIA is going to completely transform America's position in the world there. Obviously, they came to a deal there, which is great news, but all right, we're not seeing that being a big benefit to Bitcoin, at least we're not right now. We'll see later on this week if it actually changes out that way. All right, so there's that. And lastly, we talked about this here a little bit here, right? This is from Ernest as well. He talks about it also. BTC silent IPO is underway. Most are missing the underlying story here. This isn't a sell-off. It's a transfer of control, right? Kind of trying to gain as much Bitcoin as possible by the institutions. So they're obviously trying to get paper hands out of Bitcoin into their own pockets, basically. So we got weak hands exiting, institutions in balance sheet capital are quietly accumulating. The network is consolidating, not collapsing, and I agree there as well. I think it was Jordy Visor calls it a silent IPO. Liquidity is shifting in more areas than just NASDAQ. Bitcoin is pre-pricing based on who owns the float. This phase mirrors the public markets see after breakout growth. It's distribution stage before the next institutional leg higher here. So what does it mean for investors? Duration over dopamine. Volatility equals weakness. It's rotation. Ownership concentration equals long-term price stability. And we've seen that already with Bitcoin all as it is. Bitcoin has become less volatile this past, I would say, year to 2 years, right? It's become much less volatile than it has been in the past. We have extended periods of time where it just goes up slowly. And then we also have extended periods of time where it just goes down slowly, right? We've seen that in the last 2 years. Bitcoin has gone down 30% plus a little bit, and it's taken it like 3, 4, 5 months to do that. But it's also taken it a while to get up much higher as well. So it is much less volatile than we have seen in the past here, and this is definitely an interesting theory that could be playing out here right now as it is. So that is all I got for you guys there on the news side of things here. We'll see how Monday plays out for us. We'll see if Cypher has any good news for us as well. And then let's get into some of the data that we do have in the miners here. First one we're going to take a look at here is the market cap per megawatt. So current megawatts in pipeline. The current megawatts are in the light blue. The pipeline is in the green. This is the best data that I could come up with from my research here. If I have something off, please let me know. I will make a correction there. I tried to get the most recent data on some of these things, but it's not always in a great place to find it. Sometimes the data is kind of mixed in with other information and news releases and things like that. So if anything in my stuff is off, please let me know. I will definitely correct it here, but this is the best I could come up here over the weekend. All right, so here's what we got. Bitdeer. Bitdeer has currently 1.5 gigawatts roughly. They're going to be getting to about 3 gigawatts eventually here within the next couple of years. Core has 1.4 gigawatts. They're getting 2.3 and then potentially even further than that, right? They're definitely targeting to get more on it. Cleanspark's at 1.285. This includes the latest information that we got from them last week where they purchased a site in Texas. So that includes that in there as well, I believe. And then they're targeting somewhere around another, I think the last report that I saw was they were at 1 gigawatt and then they had a pipeline of 2 gigawatts that would give them a total of like 3 gigawatts there. So that's kind of where I have them on that one. Riot right now has about 1.2 gigawatts. They're possibly getting to 1.2 gigawatts to 2 gigawatts. You have Marathon at 1.1 gigawatts. And I'm not sure how, well, if 65% of that is owned right now, then that's the tough part, trying to figure out how much megawatts they have that they actually own for themselves. If it's 65% of that, so you're looking at about 700 megawatts that they own. The other ones might be hosted. Okay, so take that with a little grain of salt there. And they're also targeting about 3 gigawatts there. So we got quite a few companies here trying to get to 3 gigawatts in power. IREN right now is 810. They're obviously building out Sweetwater 1 and Sweetwater 2 as well. Those are 2 gigawatts there itself. And other sites as well that they have that they could get to 3 gigawatts there. Plus, I think they also have maybe more megawatts coming after that also, but it's not reported yet. Okay, then we got Hive here. Hive has 540 megawatts, which includes the 100 megawatts that's in phase 3 right now at in Argentina, I think it is. So that's included in there, and I don't have any further details as far as where they're going to be going forward from that, as far as what their pipeline is or targets. If you guys know anything on that one, let me know. TeraWulf right now reported as of last week, they're like at 510, and I think they're trying to get another like 1 gigawatt of power total. I think that might be actually low on them. Let me know on them if that is low. And then we got Cypher with 507 current megawatts, getting to 2.6 gigawatts there of stuff that they're going to be building out here in the next couple of years. Bitfarms is at 410, and then they're looking to get to about 1.7 gigawatts, maybe even higher than that, depending if they can get permissions or approvals for some of their sites that might be able to grow even more than that going forward. Okay, so there's kind of the backdrop of this all as far as what each miner has right now, roughly. And then when we look at the valuation here per market cap here, we can see which ones are getting definitely a much higher value for their megawatts than others, right? So this is market cap per megawatts here. Hive is getting only about 2 million there. Bitdeer about 3 million. Cleanspark 4 million. Core 5 million, along with Bitfarms. Bitfarms is getting probably a little bit higher than that. They're like at 5.5, something like that. You got Marathon about 6 million. Riot about 6 million as well. TeraWulf 12 million. Cypher 14 million. IREN getting 20 million right now for their current megawatts that they have. When we look at their future pipeline megawatts upcoming here, Bitfarms is at 1 million there. Bitdeer is at 1 million plus there. Cleanspark's at 2 million. Hive is at 2 plus something there. Marathon at 2 million as well. Higher end of 2 million, it looks like, probably closer to 3 million. Bitdeer is at 3 million. Cleanspark at 3 million as well. Why do I have Cleanspark in here twice? What happened there? That doesn't seem right. It might be somebody else. Who am I missing there? Who got mixed up here? Let me see. Where's my data on that one? Oh, geez. Okay. Let's see if we can fix this. Delete series, add series. There we go. Done. Okay. That should fix it. That fixed it. All right. So Marathon 2 million, almost 3 million there. Cypher at 3 million. Core at 3 million as well. Riot at 4 million. IREN at 6 million. And TeraWulf at 6 million plus there, it looks like, on it right now. So you can see some of these guys are definitely getting higher valuation for their megawatts than others. So some of the other ones that have lower valuations on their megawatts could catch up to some of those higher valuations, right? Somewhere in the middle there. So I think, IREN obviously is getting a huge valuation there. IREN is also going for NeoCloud, right? That's a difference from NeoCloud to being co-location. They get a little bit more of a premium on that. So if we get some of these other guys here to like between 12 and 14, so let's just say around 13 million per megawatt, you can see a lot of these guys would at least double here, if not triple, or in some of these guys' case, even more than that from where they are right now going forward. And then if you include their future megawatts potential as well, you can definitely see that a lot of these guys still probably could be valued a heck of a lot more higher than they are right now as it is, right? I mean, we got price targets on IREN right now from analysts from $75 to $85, all the way up to maybe even $100 in the next 6 to 9, 12 months, whatever it might be. So there's definitely a lot of demand here for megawatts. These guys have a lot of megawatts combined. Currently, these guys have approximately, what is that? The total is 9.3 gigawatts right now of combined power. Future pipeline for them, future power is another 22. So you're looking at a total of approximately, I think that includes all of it. So it's your 22 gigawatts there of power potential. That's massive. That is a lot of megawatts that can be used for AI, which obviously we're seeing some of these guys having a pretty hard time getting the megawatts, right? Microsoft, potentially others as well. They got GPUs, but they got no place to plug them in because they don't have the megawatts. These companies here have the megawatts. So some of these big boys need to start making some deals to start using those GPUs that they do have, because you got GPUs laying around, they're losing money. It's the same thing with ASICs, right? ASICs, you got those things laying around. You don't want them to be laying around. You want those things to be hashing. So same thing with GPUs. You want those things to be plugged in and generating revenue for you, because eventually those things will get obsoleted by newer equipment. So you have about 3 to 4 years, maybe 5 years at most to use those things. And if you're waiting another year to 2 years to plug those things in, well, then you're already, a year to 2 years behind. So they definitely need to do that on it. So this is just kind of gives you guys a rough estimation as far as where these guys are valued at right now in the megawatts. And you can also see, obviously, the ones that are kind of less valued on things. Okay. So there's that information for you. We'll keep an eye on this. We'll keep track of this as well. I've added that also into like all of the miners here at the top, so you guys will have this available. I'll try to keep this updated as well as whenever they report something. So we do have current megawatts and megawatts pipeline there, what they're going to be getting to total, right? So that includes what they have currently. So we are tracking that as well right now. I did put that in for all the miners in there. Okay. Lastly, we're going to take a look at on the weekly, how do the miners do here compared to Bitcoin here, and where they are right now from their 52-week lows compared to their 52-week highs. And we can see here that IREN right now is the top dog, still is. Cypher's chomping at the bit a little bit there, but IREN's at 1,085% up on the 52-week low. Cypher's at 902%. TeraWolf's up 652, Bitfarms 489, Hive 312, CORZ 247, BitTier 224, Riot 219, Cleanspark 175, Marathon 86, Bitcoin's only up 64%, Kango's up 60%, and Strategy getting beat up there. It's only up 22% here. And then on the bottom chart here, you can see how far away the miners and companies are away from their 52-week highs as it is. CORZ is pretty close to that. Obviously, CORZ got there last week after the vote by shareholders got rejected for the buyout by CoreWeave. Okay. TeraWolf also pretty close to that as well from last week. Bitcoin's still quite a ways away, but Cypher and IREN are not that far apart there either. So, and some of them are further away, right? Kango's 58%. Kango, right, when I talked about them, I said, right, asset light doesn't always translate over into great valuations. So they need to do some more on the shopping side of things to buy more of the sites that they have control over. For last week here, we can see that Bitcoin was down actually 1%. I track it Friday to Friday here. TeraWolf did the best. It was up 13% there. Core was up even really nicely, up 11% here. And then everybody kind of underperformed here last week. IREN being down 3%, BitTier 4%, Kango and Marathon, or Kango being down 5%. Marathon being down 6%, Strategy down 7%, Riot and Cleanspark down 8%, Cypher down 10%, Hive 14%, along with Bitfarms there. The two Canadian miners were down the most. On that one, from 4 weeks ago, Bitcoin's down 3% here. BitTier has outperformed, being up 25%, along with TeraWolf and Core. And even Cypher there have outperformed Bitcoin. Some of the other ones also, but some have underperformed here. On the 8 weeks, things definitely changed there now. Bitcoin's down 6%. TeraWolf is up 44%. Core up 36%. IREN up 79%. BitTier 37%. Cleanspark's up 72%. Cypher's up 72%. Bitfarms is up 78%. Hive is up 36%. So much better time from 8 weeks ago, right? Obviously, much better performance here. And then from 12 weeks ago, we can see Cypher killing it here with 258% gains. Bitfarms even 215%, IREN 209%. So a lot of these guys have done a really, really great job there. Hive's up 134%, Cleanspark 83%, Riot's up 75%, TeraWolf 73%. And then we got BitTier up 66%, Core up 52% as well. And then the only ones that have underperformed here are Kango, right, being down 17%, and Strategy being down 26%. Bitcoin's only down 7%. So Strategy's not getting the love like it did earlier in the cycle here, at least, the way it looks like. So that is it. That's all I got for you guys. I'll make this available, obviously, to all the Patreon members there. Thank you for all their support. Greatly appreciate it. And if you want to become a member and get access to all of these spreadsheets and things like that, we will have that available for them tomorrow. Link for that is down in the description as always. And then I'm working on still the earnings per share here. I know we already had Riot report and Cypher report, but we still have a couple more. I'm hoping to get that done by tomorrow sometime, and we'll see how close. Right now, I have Cypher being negative a little bit on the EPS side of things. I'm hoping that they come out with good news tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock Eastern time, right before the market opens there. Yeah, hopefully that's going to be a good news event there to drive the stock up even higher from where it's at. But we'll see. Okay. Let's get into Q&A here. So what you guys have to say, questions, comments, thoughts, and everything else. As always, if you guys could preface those with a question mark or a Q, I'd appreciate it. I'm going to scroll my way up as always and work my way down. We will get through all the questions and comments. Just have a little patience there, please, while I go through everything here. All right, let's see. We got that. All right, let's roll up here and we'll work it all through. Okay. All right, well, we'll start with Rob here because I haven't answered his question here during the beginning of the show or pre-show. So Rob asks, Seb, what are your thoughts on the $500 million of offering, even despite the capped call transactions at 11.88 per share? I thought it was a great time for Bitfarms to do that. The stock obviously had a nice run up there. It was getting repriced, right? I think Riot's probably out of there as well. That's one of the things I want to. That's one of the things I didn't look at. I got to look at that to see if Riot is completely out of that position there, because Riot reported last week on Thursday, so I got to look at that. But I think they're completely out, and I think it was a good time for him to do it. Right, the stock has obviously gotten up nicely here. They have the Maguire 300 million as well to their disposal to build out. They're hiring the right people. They're working with the right companies as well to build out or plan the build out of the data centers there. So they're doing all the right things, and I think this will definitely help them. They now have a war chest of $1 billion roughly to advance their AI data center initiatives, which is good. So I think this is good. All right. Let's see. All right. League supports anything 15 to 20 is where they should be. I think you're talking about Cleanspark. Cleanspark, you're saying is fairly valued right now. I think they should be somewhere higher. I think they should be somewhere between $25 and $35 right now, to be honest with you. But that's just my opinion. I'm not, I don't set the market. Let's see. If Bitcoin has a terrible week, I'm going to be livid. I'm hoping it doesn't have a terrible week. Yeah. You just got to be patient, unfortunately. BTC, best BTC price ever for these earnings, and we can't get any green upside. I know that's frustrating at times, but it is what it is. Okay, let's see. Sour Melon says, to think Cleanspark is undervalued. Yeah, it's undervalued in my opinion. I see Sour agrees there. Marcus, why is Kango having high hash rate, but the price is so abysmal? For them, it's they only own, I think, 50 or 80 megawatts of the whole operation there. Everything else is basically hosted. So that's a very, very small amount, right? So they're asset light on that side of things, and they need to probably buy some more sites, more megawatts, basically, just sites to mine Bitcoin there and possibly turn those into AI as well. So that's why they're where they're at. Okay, so it costs them more to mine Bitcoin than it does some of the other miners because they host everything pretty much, except for the 50 or 80 megawatts. Neville, what's up, Seb? Sunday night, Bitcoin's falling down here. Not a great start to the week. We'll see how we go. Dan says Cleanspark is so undervalued. I would agree with you there as well. Neville, did Cypher move up their earnings call or did they delay it? I believe it was the former, but I have heard the latter. It would just suck for them to move it up, only to not announce a deal. Yeah, I don't know if they moved it up. I mean, it's still the original date that they set in their press release, right? What I think some people are talking about is the information that you might find on like Yahoo Finance or something like that, where they just have a date in there, but it's not the actual date because the companies usually will put out a press release when they are actually doing it, and that's the actual date. The other date I think is just an estimation as far as when they're going to be reporting. So if we look at Cypher, let me see here. Let me pull this up. Cypher press releases on that one. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, they announced it October 20th here. They're doing it November 3rd, and there wasn't one prior to that. So I think it's just set in stone. Like I said, I think it's, some of these other services might provide some information here, but you guys can see here on the chart, at least, or on the page here, that wasn't changed. So we never got a change after that. It stayed the same on it. All right, there's that. Talked about that already. Okay, Dan Sarmelin, what do you think Cleanspark should end the year at? No, I think, well, we'll let Sour answer that, but I think somewhere between $25 and $35, I think, unless they come out with some really aggressive news on AI business side of things. Let me see. Neville says, I'd like to see IREN do a colo deal. They can't get a massive one for a shorter term length. Yeah, they could do that. But why go for a colo deal when they can, as they have proven so far, that they're able to build out their own GPU data centers for their own use and their customers' use and actually make more money on it. So I'm not sure if we need a deal on that. I know it's going to be obviously more expensive to go that route, but I think the upside is much better for that, at least right now. Right? That's just my thoughts on it. We'll see. Rob, my thoughts on the price of Bitcoin is that the Bitcoin miners are selling their Bitcoin in order to pay for operations and salary of staff, and also BlackRock is accumulating silently. Okay. Excuse me. Yes, we have definitely seen more and more miners selling. I mean, we even saw Mara selling last month. So, yeah, we're definitely seeing more and more of these companies selling to pay for operations, things like that. All right, so Sour says today on $25 to $30. So that's kind of where I think somewhere between $25 and $35 would be a good price there. Let's see. Neville says, I heard one analyst say that a 3 to 4 year, $4 billion deal could be doable for IREN. I would say yes to that in a heartbeat. 3 to 4 years wouldn't be bad, right? Depending for how many megawatts too that would be entitled for, that wouldn't be bad. Yeah, but I don't want to see anything longer than like 5 years probably. If we get anything under 5, I think that'd be good, right? Because then you can build out that data center and then eventually kick them out if you want to, and then you can put in your own machines if you wanted to, your own servers. Let's see, Rob, I'm trying to understand what you mean by pipeline for your market cap per megawatts chart. So this is kind of like what they have. A lot of these guys already have like IREN. Well, IREN already has megawatts, pretty much getting to like 3 gigawatts, right? Others are at where they are right now, but they have pipeline, which I say is a pipe dream really, but we're going by that as far as what they could possibly get to, right? As far as once they sign the contracts for the megawatts and things like that, buy the sites, buy the land, buy all the things that they need. So that's the pipeline there, is what they could possibly get to, or maybe I should have called it future megawatts, but I think a pipeline is what they're using there, so I'm using the same thing for it. So I hope that kind of explains a little bit. All right, Sabi John, June, thanks for the table of the megawatts current and pipeline. Would be awesome to say when the pipeline megawatts will be available for the different miners. Megawatts this quarter or next, better than 2 years hence. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these guys we're looking at probably even to build out, the ones that have the megawatts available to them to build out, even we're talking about at least 2 years, right? IREN, we're talking about 2026, 2027 to get to their full roughly 3 gigawatts there. Cypher, same thing. Others are still in that discussion phase, due diligence phase on some of the megawatts that they're trying to get to, but that's kind of what they report as far as what their pipeline is, right? We know that IREN could possibly have even more megawatts than that, but it hasn't been disclosed that, you know, that they're working on it or something like that. So that is it. Savi John, thank you so much for the super chat there. Appreciate it. Let's see, Rob says, your chart for market cap for pipeline concerning Bitfarms is contradicting from one chart to another, it appears. That's because we're looking at current, what they have and what their future might be, right? So let me take a look at that. Did I screw up on something on that? If we go back to, let me see, market cap. Bitfarms is at 5 million right now, right? So they only have, so let's take a look at this. So if we look at Bitfarms market cap per megawatt right now, current, Bitfarms has, where are they at? Bitfarms, 410, right? So they're getting a higher valuation for right now. If they can grow that by basically 4x, they're being valued on the future potential at only 1 million. So no, it actually works out. Had me scared there for a minute that I screwed something up, but no, it does work out that way. Future current valuation is 410 megawatts. Future obviously is going to be a lot different there as well on it. Okay, let's go back. All right. User, any ideas why Bitfarms keeps going down? It seems undervalued. It is. I mean, it's valued than some of the other ones for current megawatts, but yes, it has been going down because it has had a nice run up here. So profit taken, right, a little bit of a healthy pullback, I think, as well. We've seen it in other miners as well. Cypher obviously is down. IREN's down from where it was. Others included in that. So yeah, we'll see. All right, KR Crohn's says bloodbath incoming for Bitcoin there. I don't know if we're gonna have a bloodbath. I mean, we're only down still Let's see, your Bitcoin's still only down 2.56%. Let's see if we bounce off of that somehow. It seems like we do have some support in this range here. We'll see if we can bounce off of that going forward. And yeah, we'll see obviously how the week progresses here. Guys, says you think Cleanspark can hit 25 this month? Oh gosh, if we have a good rally and everything, then yeah, we could possibly get there. I mean, we got pretty close to it, not too far along. Let's see here. Cleanspark was at 2361. So I mean, we were just knocking on that door there just a couple days ago, a couple weeks ago actually. Back on middle of October here, the 15th, we were at 2361. So we were not that far away from it. Right, a lot of these guys were also higher at that point, at that time. But yeah, so I think it's possible, right? If we have a nice rally, we could even go higher than that. All right, let's see what else we got. Tom, question, any news on DigiPower? They have really been going up the last 2 weeks or so. Not that I'm aware of. Some of these smaller market cap stocks that have potential for AI as well, those guys are having a nice run up here. I think, to be honest, I think it's more manipulation than anything else. They're easy to manipulate because they don't have a lot of shares outstanding. Small market caps as well, those things are easy to manipulate, unfortunately. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing here, at least with them, because we saw it with Solana happening, we saw it with Digi, we saw it with Mawson, Argo at one point as well, Annie even. Right, some of these smaller guys have been definitely getting some wild pumps here. Because question, any data on how much Riot lost for their takeover attempt? I don't. I have to look through the quarterly results on them to find out, are they still in Bitfarms? How much do they have? And see if we can figure out what the cost was. I'm guessing it's going to be tens of millions, if not hundreds of $1 million potentially, from when they got into it. Unfortunately. All right, Dan, in your opinion, what are we going to see? In your opinion, are we going to see new highs in November for Bitcoin? In my opinion, I mean, Bitcoin historically has had a pretty nice run in November. We saw that in October too, but that didn't play out that way. We got obviously to a new high in October, but I think we might get to a new high in November as well, right? We're just kind of doing these little 2 steps forward, 1 steps back deals with Bitcoin. And hopefully that's going to be the way it's going to go forward here. It's hard to tell, but right now we're not starting out great for the month. Let's see. No, Bitfarms is likely to announce a deal enterprise with their site in Washington first, and then Panther Creek after, possibly in 2026. I would agree with you there. I think that might be a pretty good way to go about it. Right, the Washington site is already up and running. You do have other data centers around that, which are like Microsoft. You got also Amazon, I believe, in there as well. So you do have a pretty good location of some good customers there. Okay, Paul says, heard BTC down because investors are awaiting jobs data. Okay. But then the markets would be down. We'll see how that could be it. I'm not sure. All right, League, does Mara actually have a 3 gigawatt pipeline? Wonder if we can get more info Tuesday from them on earnings call. That is way larger than I expected. Also, their joules per terahash is now advertised as 18. Big progress. Yeah, it's definitely when I was looking into it also. Let's see if I pulled that data in for them. I should have pulled that data in for them as well. Let me see here. What did I put in there? I tried to put in my sources in there as well. Okay, so here it is. So I did put that in there. Power capacity, this is from looking at their quarterly results that was reported for Q2. And I ran AI on it. So current operations were Mara has approximately, let's go over here, show more. See, Mara has approximately 1.1 gigawatts of capacity. Currently operates operational as of June 30th, right? So I think 65% of that is their owned. The rest is hosted, I think. Current total capacity for the total energy portfolio consists of approximately 1.7 gigawatts of capacity, captive capacity, nameplate capacity across owned and hosted sites. Okay, so 1.7. So maybe that is 1.1 for themselves. And then growth pipeline. The company has a growth pipeline exceeding 3 gigawatts of low-cost power opportunities, which are considered future capacity for expansion. So that's kind of where I'm at with them right now. So that's where I got it from. But yeah, I was a little surprised by that too. I'm like, really? 3 gigawatts? Okay. I know they bought the wind farm, right? That was 140 megawatts or something like that. So that's probably being added into it as well. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what they buy up here. All right, where do I want to go? Back here, Q&A. All right. Talked about that one. Victor, question, what do you think will be the business update for Cypher? Thanks. Oh gosh, I don't know. I'm guessing something maybe with Barber Lake. possibly. Maybe another customer there or in talks with a customer for it. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait, but I'm hoping it's something good. All right. Okay, Rob, I'm not sure if it's just me, but I believe down in the state of Texas is that there is desperation for power generation, and that's where Bitfarms will shine. What hyperscalers are in need of power here. Bitfarms doesn't have any operations in Texas. They have obviously Pennsylvania, Washington, and Canada, but generation, and that's where Bitfarms will shine. They're saying because Bitfarms has generation, right, that they have those two, there's 2 or 3 coal power plants in there, but maybe. All right. Let's see, a crazy question. Are you concerned with Bitfarms? I believe something like 8 of the last 10 trading days have been red days. What end of year price target do you have for them? I'm not concerned yet. Right, they're still in the early stages of developing their AI data centers and things like that. I think they have a lot of potential going forward. I think they're in great sites as well. Pennsylvania, obviously Washington as well. But they do have potential, I think. And it's just early, right? They had a great run. So a healthy pullback was needed. And we got that in everything, not just Bitfarms. So I'm not concerned yet. I'm still holding on to that thing, along with everything else that I own right now. So I'm not planning on transitioning anything or selling anything right now. We're just seeing a huge demand for AI right now as it is. Megawatts are in short supply. These guys have it. I think things are going to be good for them going forward here, particularly in the next year or so. Okay, Kranz, is Trump pro-crypto or not? All he's done is enrich himself and his friends. Us poors need a break. He is pro-crypto. Obviously, if you recall, his family was debanked, right, after he lost the election last time. His family got debanked, and they got a pretty rude awakening to how the system can actually debank you because they don't agree with you politically or whatever it might be, right? So I think... based on what I've heard from the interviews from his family, Jared and others, they are very, very pro-crypto here. So I think they're obviously going to want it to do well, but they also want to make money on it as well. So long-term, we're going to be fine here. Short-term, volatility is going to be part of the game here. Andrea, thank you so much for the likes. Sadie, thank you so much for the likes as well. Andrea beat me to it. Let's see. Sadie sometimes thought you weren't here. Okay, well, I appreciate both you gals doing that. Dan, why are they manipulating us so hard on these prices on Bitcoin? Well, they want to make as much money as they can. I mean, that's whenever it comes to a question like that, it's always about money, right? We're very small part of this. There's obviously a heck of a lot more money involved in this than there ever has been, and there will be even more in the future here. So that's going to be to their benefit, but in the long run, it'll also be to our benefit. In the short term, they're going to try and squeeze us. They're going to try and pinch us as much as they can, try to get us to capitulate, try to make us think that this is, over, we're done for, it's not going up any further, and then they're going to let it run here. So patience is going to be definitely needed in here. All right. Rob, Seb, are you buying more Bitfarms to DCA week to week, day to day as we continue to go down in share price? I'm not. As I've told you guys here in the last couple of weeks, I've been building out, renovating the basement here. Pretty much all the extra cash that I have is going to that. I got a pretty hefty price quote on HVAC to add HVAC or heating and cooling here in the basement. That's costly here, so I don't want to sell anything. So whatever extra capital that I do have or income coming in, I put it into that right now. So otherwise, if it wasn't for that, then yeah, I would be buying in if I wasn't doing this. But I want to get this done probably within the next 5 months or so. I don't want to be living in construction hell for the next year. Karan, what do you think of the SFR earnings tomorrow? Will it pump? Depending on what they provide us with as far as news, right? We talked about that a little bit. I think their earnings will be negative per share. But other than that, I'm hoping that they come up with some good news, at least for like Barber Lake or one of their sites, or, that they have more customers wanting to talk to them, things like that, that will give us at least some type of bullish thesis going forward as well for them. All right, Rob, let's hope AMD earnings on Tuesday after hours will raise the broader market come Wednesday morning. Yeah, AMD has done pretty good. There's also, I don't know how much truth there is to it, but I don't know if you guys saw this. Chinese university, I think, created a new, that's not really a new chip, it's an analog chip. If you guys saw this, I just was reading it actually today. It was actually quite fascinating. I don't know much truth there is to it. But if it is true, that's kind of outstanding. But they're talking about creating an analog chip like we had in the past. Before we had transistors and all that stuff, everything was analog basically, right? But they created an analog chip in a sort of way that is like 1,000 times more powerful than, they said NVIDIA GPUs. I'm not sure which one they were talking about here, whether it's the latest generation Blackwells or not. But that's just mind-blowing to me that something like that could be that much more powerful here. So that's why I said I don't know how much truth there is to it, to be honest. But if that is the case, things might be changing here in the next 5 to 10 years on that side. So it's just, and that's one of the things where if China doesn't get some of these newer chips from NVIDIA and things like that, they are forced to then come up with new ways of potentially, competing. And at some point, they're going to be possibly able to either surpass us or keep up with it, right? We saw that with DeepSeek, right? How they were able to do that potentially at a much lower cost than what we have seen here in originally. Something to keep an eye on as well. Karan, thank you so much for the super sticker there. I appreciate it. Thank you for that. And what else do we have here? I think that's it. We've cut up to all the questions here. We're going on almost 40 minutes or so. Well, I think we're going to call it a day here. We'll see where we end up at later on this week. With everything, we'll cover obviously Cypher tomorrow on that one. We'll talk about it. I'm going to try and listen to the conference call from them. Hopefully I wake up in time to do that. What else we have here? We got somebody else reporting. I think we got 3 companies reporting this week. Cypher I know for sure tomorrow. There might be IREN, I think. Is it IREN this week or next week? I can't remember now. We'll take a look at it there, but that's about it. SH has a final question here. Hey, Seb, as a Bitcoin treasury stock like AST better than HPCI stocks? Depends on their MNAV. If their MNAV is less than 1, I would say you're probably okay to invest in that. If it's higher than MNAV of 1, I would say be cautious. I think AI has maybe more potential here going forward than Bitcoin, unfortunately, as much as it pains me to say that, but I think that might be the case there. And I'm just not a big fan of Bitcoin treasury companies. I love the fact that they're buying Bitcoin up like crazy, but I think if I wanted to buy Bitcoin, I could do it with the ETFs or I could buy it directly. So it's like, what utility do they actually provide other than maybe people that can't get ETFs or they just want to buy the treasury companies, or maybe I don't know. That's just me. Okay, Sadie, you're very welcome as always. All the best, everyone. I agree there. Love you all. I will see you guys tomorrow. We'll talk about obviously Cypher and everything else that happens there. And hope you guys have a great week. Hopefully this is just a little pullback in Bitcoin and then we rocket up higher here. But we'll see. We'll cover it all. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great night. Bye.